All right. Okay, let's see who's here. This is all going to be new. Okay, where's the chat?
It's supposed to show up there too.
Yeah.
That'll probably give you feedback.
It's not going to have it on. People on. This is all new to me, everybody. So I am, okay. Dun, dun, dun. There's 3 of us in here. Okay. Can everybody just type in the comments to tell me who's here, please? Let's see. So weird, you guys. Okay. Trying to get the moderator room set up. Okay, we got 6 people in. We've had 49 register. How about that? I know I'm awfully close, but I guess you want to see my brows. So, and I'm just adjusting all of this. I did practice before, but you know how that goes. So let me just get out of here for a second to see how I can get this. Can you all see me? Yes? No? Okay. Hey, Shelly Perry. Good to see you here. Who else is here? Somebody just start saying who, because I can't see the attendees. Hey, Amanda. Okay, I know there's 8 of you. This is all new to me. This new webinar, this new everything. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's see. We got chat mode. Okay, let's see. Nope, we want chat mode. All right. I'm getting all my notices that we're starting. So you guys can see me okay? Can you hear me okay? Does everything sound all right? Yes? That's a yes? Okay. I'm so close in this video. Let's see. Try more time to try to moderate this so that I can see everything on a separate thing. See? Let's try this way. All right. So I guess there's a little, yay! So I'm all clear. Okay, so I can kind of see myself. There's a little delay on this. I'm going to wait for us to be in at 11. And this is a process, you guys. I have so much respect for anybody who does these webinars now. This is a lot of work, just to set this up and to get going. And oh my goodness, it's so much. Not to mention, you know, trying to prepare for the presentation, which is really going to be off the cuff. I promise I'll be making these better. Oh my goodness. Let me see who is here. Okay, I don't know why. Can you all see the chat room? Like, can everybody see the chat? See, there's all these little things that I don't know because this is the first time that I'm using this platform, and we'll see how it works. The I have my tablet going over here, but I can see your chats that are in here, and I'm not on my computer. I'm on the phone doing this because it's way easier to do this in this setup, and obviously to zoom in and all that stuff is way easier. So I'm going to give it just a couple minutes more because we're still 3 minutes away, and then we'll get started. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. Can you all see one another's comments? Can you? Maybe? Can you let me know? Can you see one another's comments? Let me see, Shelly. Oh, look at that coolness. Okay, I can see, I can invite you as a presenter. I can broadcast your comment to the room. I can ban you. How funny is that? Oh my goodness. Hey, Charlotte. Oh my goodness. So happy. And then there's those moments where you hit the button and you and you and you end the thing. Oh my gosh. Okay, we got 19 people on here. I swear I'm gonna learn how to do this. I promise. I promise we'll make this better. Well, at least I'm not like all zoomed in. I guess I was all zoomed in. Now at least you have my full face and not my full on brow. So that's a good thing. Oh my goodness. Oh my God, I love this. I love that we're all connecting. This makes me so happy. You know, I've been doing these live Facebooks at around 8 p.m. because it's not 8 p.m. every oh, and my brows are such a mess, Wendy. When I pull it in close and you actually see what they look like, you're gonna laugh. Oh, this is making my heart so happy to see all of you. I have never been like missing doing brows and missing you all more in my life. Like, sometimes I work so hard that I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I do this, blah, 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 blah. And now I do not take anything for granted at all, ever, ever, ever. I'll tell you what, Lordy. Oh, yeah, right. This is the first time I put makeup on, and you got to see my shirt says fearless. So, because this is nerve-wracking for me to do this. I kind of got called out that I've done, all these other things, and why am I so nervous because it's a webinar, but it is I don't know why I'm so nervous about um going live. I'm not so sure. Oh my goodness, I'm starting to sweat. You can see like every single pore. Oh, and yeah. So let's see. Oh, Fran, yeah. I couldn't be happier to do this. We're just going to give it a couple more minutes since it's just straight up 11 and wait for a few more people to join. It turns out that we had like 50 people sign up for this. I can. Oh, you know what? That brings me joy, Wendy. Seeing cheese puffs with chopsticks. I did eat ramen with chopsticks, so my husband was like lovely enough to make me some ramen. And gosh, you guys, we're gonna have 30 more days of this. 30 more days of being in quarantine, which means that we're probably going to have a weekly how to do your brows, maintain your brows, because if you guys go another 30 days without doing your brows, it's going to be not such a good thing for any of us when we get back to it. Oh my goodness. And Shelly, so you guys, one of the things that I'm working on is putting together an entire like process of uh makeup tutorials, and that will be paid and will be free, and they're going to be freaking awesome. We're also going to do, I mean, we're all staying at home, so why not learn how to do some makeup virtually? I might, Shelly and Wendy and Charlotte, since all of you guys have been, oh, Tama, hey Tama, um since all of you have been makeup clients, I need to practice how to teach you how to do something virtually. So stay tuned. This is my job. This is what I'm working on for the week, is to be able to do this. So, needless to say, learning new skills and learning all of this is tough. I mean, these webinars, I got to tell you, people make it look so easy. Join my webinar, do this. Oh my God, I need a degree just to figure all this out. All right. Well, we've got, yay, Carolyn, you made it. Yay. All right. So we have 24 people in the room. I am just going to send out a link if you just give me a minute. Um, yeah. Yeah, I'm working right now, Shelly, on trying to determine some at-home solutions. I'm about to buy 3 or 4 different kinds of brow dye. I've gotten some recommendations for people who are doing it on their own, and that's going to be a whole thing in and of itself, is teaching you how to do that. Apparently, thanks, Dottie. Apparently, the there's just a learning curve to this, and you can use some of them to dye your lashes as well at home. So we're going to figure that out. I'm keep sending me notes on what you'd like to learn as we do these things. Okay. So I can't see everybody that's in the room. It's funny. I have a little button that says there's 27 people here. Let me see if I can see. Okay, let's see. Vanessa, Dottie. Hey, Marla, Karen, Fran, Caitlin, Denise, Wendy, Shara, and Amanda. Okay, so we got 28 of us. And Karen. Hey, Karen Inman. So happy to see you. Okay, I am going to it's a very scary, Shelley. That's why we're going to do this, and watching and learning from people who do this, I guess, on their own. Here's the thing, is that if you screw it up, Shelley, if you screw it up, nobody's going to see you for a month anyway. And apparently it wears off within a couple weeks. So, or within a couple days, even. Like, if the at-home stuff doesn't last anyway. So we'll talk about that. All right, everybody, I'm going to get started. So for those of you who don't know me, who are on here, my name is Alyson Hoag, and I am the founder of Authentic Beauty, which is a makeup studio in Atlanta, Georgia. We are just outside of Chastain Park in Sandy Springs. And I have been doing makeup for over 30 years, and I have been doing eyebrows for about 26 years now, I think. And I'm gonna tell you my story just a little bit about eyebrows, because it relates to learning how to maintain them, and I don't know how many of you have actually heard the story of how I started to do eyebrows. So I'm going to share that first, and then we're going to get into how to maintain them, because it's so let me just share my story, and I'll start this, and I'll try not to get sidetracked, and hang on with me, because, and I love that, yeah, we've got up to 30 people on this call. I'm totally blown away that 30 of you join me on this. It makes my heart so happy. Okay. So the story goes like this. When I was in high school, and if I had done this properly, I would have had pictures for you, but maybe if you join the group, I'll post these pictures and all this stuff so you can see, and we can all be amused by this story. So I came of age in upstate New York. I modeled in high school. I went through the whole learn how to model process, and we learned how to do makeup professionally. And it was 1984, 1985 when I went through this process. And I had an agent, and my agent took one look at my brows, which I could brush them and they would probably go up to the middle of my forehead. And she said, don't touch your brows. They're not going to grow back. And, being 16, if any of you were around in the 80s, most of you were all on there. Hey, Luann, remember my brows? Remember our brows in the 80s? Luann and I went to middle school. I think we went to middle school and high school together, but not elementary school. But um, we had our eyebrows were full and fluffy, and they were really in response to the 70s because in the 70s, they tweezed them all off. Some people shaved them off, and they didn't grow back. And so when usually, like, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw in the next 10 years or so where we start to see a thin brow again, because we've seen thick brows now for the past several years. Personally, I believe, do not make your eyebrows a trend. You want to have your eyebrows balance out your face. So that's my personal, exactly. Brooke Shields was a huge influence. And the thing about the 80s brows that were full, and the 2020 brows that we're seeing, is that the 2020 brows are full, they're groomed. If you go back and you look at pictures of Brooke Shields, her brows were not groomed. They were just straight up messy, never been touched brows. And I'm not I believe in grooming, right? Like, grooming is an important aspect to our appearance, right? So brows are one of those things that if we just don't want brow hair all over our face. And that was kind of the Brooke Shields thing. So I just pretty much, like Brooke Shields, let my brows grow. And because I had this agent who said they'd never grow back if you mess with them, I was pretty much of the opinion, don't touch your brows. So as I started on in my career as a makeup artist, I would start to see all these people, and they had completely messed up brows. And I really became of the opinion, don't touch your brows, because if you one time can lead to, and as many of you know who are on this feed, because I've been helping you rehab for years and years and years, one time of being waxed or being threaded that annihilates your brows can take several years, not just like, oh, they'll grow back next month. It can take years to grow back brows that have been destroyed. And, I've really come to understand, after a 25, 26-year career in maintaining eyebrows, the importance of maintaining a cycle, which is what we're going to talk about today, is maintaining the cycle, which is why it's important that we do a little bit of maintenance on our brows today, myself included in this. Now, the crazy part about all of this is I never touch my own brows. I never, ever, ever touch my own brows. This is why, even for me, this is scary because I don't touch them. Sarah or Stephanie, why do you think I have a staff? I have a staff so that they can do my eyebrows, because you really can get going into the brow, as I've seen so many people, and they start tweezing and they don't stop. And next thing you know, you're missing half your brow. So let's just go back to talking about how one's brows are maintained in the growth cycle of brows. Okay, so when I after, so I think I was 16, 17 when I went through the smiling course and started my career, which is, I know, a long time ago. I was 16. I also went to college at 16, if you guys don't know that. And I worked for the Lancome counter when I was in college. So I've had a long career as a makeup artist. And I think I've estimated I've worked on probably um, over 100,000 people. I've touched over 100,000 people in my career. So that's kind of crazy to think that I've touched that many faces. And I think that's probably a conservative amount. So after I had my son, which was in 1993, I went to apprentice with this amazing makeup artist who, his name was Ron Garino, and he just was one of the only people back in the day offering makeup classes and learning how to work on camera and learning how to do things more, doing things more on the commercial end. Now we have a lot of that available to us, but back in the day, it was really hard to find somebody to apprentice with. And so and in fact, I was going through some of my memory boxes over the past week, and I found his original curriculum and his book. And he passed away several years ago. There's a blog about me acknowledging him as the person who taught me how to do brows. And I was really happy that he got to see that he launched my career, because when he looked at my brows after we went through the brow sculpting piece inside of his class, which, you know, why brows become so important, right, is because when you're a professional artist and you're trying to create continuity for a image on somebody's face, the brows set the entire frame of the face, the balance, right? So balancing the brows and on the face becomes critical as a makeup artist. And there's a big difference between a makeup artist and somebody who removes hair. There's, I am not putting down any estheticians, but there's an art form because it's about balance and form all the way through, and crafting features on somebody's face is an art form. And so when I worked with him and he taught about structure and brows, as it related to makeup artistry, he said, we're going to do your brows. And this is my brows that were all over my face, never been touched, very much like Brooke Shields, virgin eyebrows. I was 25 years old, 26, 25, whatever. And he said, we're going to do them. And I was like, I was like, no way, which many people, when they're have sit in my chair and I tell them, especially when they don't know me, it's like that moment of, oh my God, are my brows going to disappear? I was definitely like, get away from me. So he convinced me to do my brows and he said, we're going to cut them. And I was like, what? We're going to what? And he cut my brows and I went, oh my gosh. And it opened up my whole face. He tweezed out 10 hairs that were underneath and my entire face lifted. The arch you see today is pretty much the arch that has been maintained since then. And, I went on to, once I went back into the studio that I was working in after learning from him, I could no longer do anybody's makeup without doing their brows. That was really kind of critical for me as a turning point as being a makeup artist, as being a as a woman. When I understood the importance of makeup, I could no longer take care of anybody else's makeup without doing their eyebrows. And then it turned into, let me just tweeze a few, let me just take care of you. And then I realized that, and we were in the middle of the 90s with everybody waxing and started seeing the damage to everybody's brows. And I was, beside myself watching everybody's brows being hacked. And then I realized that there were very few people out there who are actually tweezing, that there were very few people out there with the philosophy that Ron held and that I do, about brows. There's a few other people that are out there who tweeze only. But again, everybody has their philosophy about what brows should be. Personally, I believe that your brows should be as natural as possible. Your brows, just like mine are right now, should be 90% perfect without having to do any maintenance on them. And that's why I'm always, whenever you bring your daughters to me and they get the opportunity to have me or one of the staff be the first people to maintain their brows, I always look at them and I said, you don't realize how lucky you are, because after working in 25 years and having to, go through the brow rehab process with everybody for all this time, it's, you don't realize, how amazing of an opportunity it is to, have your brows be perfect from the get-go. So the next thing I'm going to talk about, so that's my story of how I started doing brows. We now have at the studio over 3,000 clients that are pretty much regular clients inside the studio. And, many of you are on this call. We, I feel very blessed that you trust me to do your eyebrows. And for those of you who don't know me, I'll be hopefully giving you some more videos I'm at home today, but we're doing a setup in the studio. So I'll be giving you a tour of the studio so you can see what it looks like and how we work. So let's talk about what we need to do to grow your eyebrows, because it's important during this time as we stay home and you understand the growth process of the brow. So I don't know how long it's been since the last time I tweezed them or you tweezed them. So we're going to talk about the brows. And I say this, if you sat in my chair, I've had this conversation. It's now more important than ever for you to understand the process of how the brows grow. And again, you're probably not going to find this on any scientific website. I've thought forever about doing a scientific experiment to actually take some pictures and count the hairs that grow during the time frame and during to prove this theory. But I, again, have done this for so long that the fact that I see as many clients as I do, and I see sometimes up to 20 people a day for the past how many years, that I can unequivocally say that this is how you're going to grow your brows. I don't need a scientific experiment because I've been doing this for so long, even though I like to quantify it and, be able to say, this is the absolute way. But okay, so first thing is your brows grow like a lawn. All right. So if you think about how a lawn grows, this is how your brows grow. So with a lawn, and I know some people don't have lawns. Those of you who are in New York, this analogy might go over your head. Use a plant, use a tree, but a thing that grows. A plant that grows is a pretty good analogy about this. So your lawn, if you don't maintain the lawn doesn't grow to take over the house, right? The lawn actually shrivels up and looks like crabgrass over a certain amount of time. The grass becomes brown, it's not green, it shrivels up, and we all know the lawns from the neighbors that don't mow them. That is the best analogy that I can give you about your brows. You also don't go into a lawn every time you see a blade of grass grow and whack it out either. That's not how you maintain a lawn. What you have to do is you have to get your lawn on a growth cycle and mow it down. If you don't tweeze your brows after a 6 weeks period of time, they start to go through the decline and they will start to shrivel up and they will start to look less full and all of that. So it's really important that we maintain these brows during this quarantine or else they're going to stop growing. So the first thing that and I've had a lot of college students throughout the years, who go off to college, people who have gone abroad. I've had clients leave me and have to move across the country. And I try my best to help maintain while they can't see me. I have a client who is in California, in Sacramento, and she flies in a couple times a year to let me maintain her arch. And then she maintains herself at home. So the process of maintaining at home is, number one, you want to be in really good light. My favorite place to do this is the car. I actually have a makeup light, one of the makeup lights from the studio at home. So I have really good lighting right now. And I have a major magnifying mirror. I am not a fan of the magnifying mirror for this because you cannot see your hair. Another option would probably be to use your phone and to zoom in on it, but I don't want it zoomed in so strong because the tendency is to get in there. And when you start seeing all the baby hair that's in there, you're going to start taking out those hairs. Also the worry is that if we're going to need to color in the brow before we start this whole process so that you can see the baby fine hair. So that's the most important thing. So a couple things. One, I'm going to recommend that since today is Monday at 11 a.m., next Monday, and how about I send you all reminders? Oh my gosh, I will send you a reminder that says, maintain your brow today. So everybody who's been on the call, I will send you a reminder. Won't that be fun? So that you don't forget, because it's really important to not lose the line. And I think you all who have been on this call, hey, Case, I will send you the reminder. Good to see you, my friend. You're going to have to go in and tweeze up the little hairs that are under there without going into the line. This is way easier said than done. I'm of the viewpoint that you do not take anything that you're unsure of. Okay, that's first. Do not take a single hair that you're unsure of. If you're in a question, don't take it. So the car is the best place to do this. The lighting has to be as natural as possible. Using a close-up mirror has a tendency to allow you to see things that you shouldn't. Remember, we never see one another at 10-time magnification. We see each other in real time. However, as we get older, of course, we can't see. That's the hardest problem. I can't even believe that it's happened to me. I have 1.75 readers on. There is no way, unless I'm in a magnifying mirror, that I'm going to see those hairs. So when you're in the car, however, you can scoot yourself really close to that mirror and you can see yourself in natural light. All right. So the very first thing is to get your lighting in a place to where you can see every single hair, and that includes every single line and pore and I mean, you can see how I even close, if you guys are seeing me in close up, I'm looking at this tablet, I can see every single pore, everything from here. Oh my gosh. Sorry about that little blip, everybody. I wasn't sure. Okay, here we go. Okay, hang on. Are we back? There we go. Sorry about that. Sorry. I was afraid everybody had gone away and then I was frozen. Everybody here? Okay. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, I'm back. So, where was I? All right. So we're talking about setting up your space. Next thing is tweezers. So the tweezers that I use are Rubus tweezers, and I didn't pull my tweezers out. These are the pointy ones. So you should not be using these, but this is Rubus. And hang on, let me find them. Of course, I thought I had pulled the right ones out. I have my New York bag. Here we go. Okay. So these are the Rubus tweezers. Okay. They're a slant point. These these are really sharp. You can order them on Rubus at rubus.com. I think you can get them through Amazon too. These are expensive. You don't need to have these. As long as they're a slant point, these are the ones that I have at home. I got them somewhere. You're not going to need I use these because they're incredibly lightweight. These are gold plated. They're like $60 retail, and they're really lightweight in my hand, and they're really, really sharp. The reason for that is because I'm seeing 20 people a day, and I need it to be lightweight, and I need these to be as sharp as possible to grab every single hair. The most important thing is to make sure that you've got really thin, like when you look at the tips of these tweezers. Let's see if I can zoom in. Maybe. There we go. If I move that. Can y'all see that okay? I know. I don't want to sell tweezers at Authentic Beauty because I don't want you to hurt yourself, Shelly. These are pretty serious. Maybe. I'll consider that just in case we ever have a pandemic again, because now I wish you all had them. Let me see if I can get a discount code. Okay, you guys. So sit tight before you order some tweezers, because I might be able to get you guys a discount code or a referral code, because we're going to need as much support as we can through this entire time. So I'll sit tight and I'll send you the thing. Okay, so slant port tweezers. The other important thing you're going to need is curved I like the cuticle scissors. Okay, and I'll tell you why is because of how thin this nose is. The thicker the blade, the more you're going to cut off, right? So you want to make sure that you get really thin curved, and I'm going to say cuticle. Forever I just used some Sally Hansen ones until I found these again on Rubus. They're really sharp and really amazing, and these are the best ones I've ever had, but they need to be curved and they need to be really thin. Baby cuticle scissors sometimes are really good too, because but you need them to be thin. I've seen some baby ones where they're really dull and they're really blunt, and those will cut too much off. So these are my favorite ones. I'll have a link to them and all of that later. Okay, and Rubus tweezers, I'll tell you a story about them. I was a Tweezerman fan forever and ever and ever, and I used Tweezerman for most of my career. And I started noticing, as they started getting bigger, that the quality of their tweezers just started going downhill. And again, yeah, I'm tweezing 20 people a day, and sometimes more, and sometimes 7 days a week. And so you can imagine how many pairs of tweezers. Some of you have seen my graveyard of tweezers. I have a graveyard of them, and I try to sharpen them, and they never work when they go and get sharpened. I just sent 7 into a place in Montana, and they ruined my freaking my tweezers, because they actually did a few that were good, and then I sent them all in and they screwed them all up. So maintaining sharp tweezers, maintaining sharp scissors is really fundamentally important. The other thing that you're going to need is a brow comb, a groomer. Okay. Very, very important to have a groomer that has both the brush and the comb. The comb is what you're going to use in order to trim them effectively. You also need a spoolie brush. Okay. So the spoolie brush is going to brush them in place and to separate them. I also have discovered, and I really kept meaning to get these to sell in the studio, is this little wonderful little spoolie that's latex, and it's tiny and it's all spiky. Can you see all that? This separates the hair better than almost anything I've seen. It also really allows you to get in there and to really brush them apart. Can you see how that just separates and lifts them really perfect? And I had my brows laminated a couple months ago, and I still absolutely love my lamination. I know there's some people that didn't, but I love how I can still just brush them up just like this, and they're pretty magical. Okay, so did everybody get we're going to use? And now ultimately, I'm going to have these. I think they're in the online store right now, but I will make sure that they're in the online store. And you guys, for watching the webinar today, you're going to get a discount code in order to get a discount on some things in the online store today. So, and if you give me just a little bit of time, I will make sure to have all these things up there for you if they're not already in there. Okay. The next thing that you need is the Blink primer. So this is a lash primer, and I know that I've talked to most of you who are clients of mine in my chair know that the Blink lash primer changed my life. So I was never a fan of using brow gels or anything on the brow to hold them in place. Most of them just made it sticky. They flaked. I have very curly brows, and that was a huge issue, throughout my life, throughout my personal beauty regimen, was how to hold my brows in place. Most of the time I would just use hairspray. And when they came out with molding muds, I was so excited for molding mud, because they right, Dottie, love that Blink primer. Let's see if I can look at this. Let's see, I'm going to broadcast your comment to the room. How about that? Okay, did you see? Can you guys see that? Yeah, there you go. That's pretty cool. Okay. I went away. I'm learning how to do this. So cool. Okay. So this Blink lash primer, the story goes is that I had taken off my lash extensions. I had lash extensions for over 6 years. And when I took my lash extensions off, I had nubs for eyelashes, and I was doing everything that I could to get them to grow. Everything I could to get them to grow. I was using the new lash. I was using the primer to help extend them. I had little nubs, seriously little nubs, for my lashes. And so for whatever reason, I was sitting right here and I picked this stuff up, and instead of putting it on my lashes, I just put it through my brow. And when I did, I went, oh my God, it changed my life. So they immediately held into place. And you would never think that you would use this product, because this product is white. And so you would never think that it would set your brows. Also like a Theta, and I think I have it in here. Hang on. Because I saved it. and I haven't thrown it away. Let's see if I have it. No, it's not in this one. All right, well, Aveda came out with a couple years ago, a brow, many years ago now. It was like in a chapstick, and it was their paste. I don't know if anybody had used their paste, but you would still have to take it out of a chapstick and brush it over the brow, and it would just mat those brows down versus separating and fluffing them. So I can't say enough about this. You got to hold your brows in place before you start tweezing them. That's one of the reasons why I use this in the studio when I'm tweezing somebody else's brows, because it's really important to hold them in place. Otherwise, the brows are going to hold on each other, and when they hold on each other and you go to tweeze, it's literally impossible to really, Tam, how have you not used the primer? I'm gonna broadcast this comment to the room. Yeah, I don't see, it's funny. Some of you who've been with me, Tama has been with me for years and years, like 20, 23 years, right, Tam? I think we figured it out the other day, 23 years, 22 years. And so some of you who've been with me forever don't know some of my new tips and tricks because I learn them as I go along. I just assume everybody should know what my tips and tricks are, but this is probably the most important thing that you can put on your brows. So that's your next. Then, so does everybody get that? So we've got tweezers, we have scissors, we have all the brow grooming supplies. We're going to be in great light. And now we're going to fill in our brows next. Okay, so there's a lot of options for filling in your brows. There's brow fiber. Where are my brow inks? I have them all under here. Sorry. Okay. Maybe I just took them all out. Okay, so we have brow inks, which have a little wand on them and a lot of product. These are waterproof. If you know the Brow Boy and some of those other products, this is similar to that. It is a more liquidy consistency. It is not where the fibers, which I'll show you in a little bit, have little fibers to them. Okay, so these have fibers, and I don't know if you can see, the camera will zoom in. Let's see if I can. There you go. Can you see the little fibers on there? All right. Those fibers attach kind of like mascara to your brow hair and make your brows look fuller and thicker. So if you have really thin brows, this is your option right here. Since I have pretty thick brows, I still use this primer in the front right here, if you can see. But for my purposes for today, I am going to use this. So I want you to think, like, for those of you, I think most of you who are actually on this have dyed your brows, and why I am such a fan of tinting and dyeing the eyebrow is to show the little baby hairs. Before you start doing any maintenance to your brows, you've got to fill them in, and I want you to fill them in and exaggerate the fill in. Does that make sense? So I don't want you to think that, oh, I'm going to go out looking like this. It's important for you to get the definition of where that brow is supposed to be. If you follow Anastasia at all, or have some of you have been to the counter or see how her philosophy is, she actually uses those stupid brow stencils, which in order to use a stencil correctly, you have to be able to hold that stencil into place. Because if it's not properly lined up and then you go to fill in your brow like that, you're going to screw them up. So I'm of the opinion that you should just fill in your brow and spend some time crafting the shape of your brow. And if you need to, take a picture of it before you start tweezing inside of your camera. So turn around, do a selfie, and fill in your brow as necessary, and then you're going to tweeze around it. Okay, I don't want you using a stencil, because the stencil, you can screw up the placement. I want you to start with your own natural brow. Okay, so let's start with where brows should start and end on the face. Again, every makeup artist is different in this philosophy, okay? So there's your starting point, there's the ending point, and there's the arch point. When I learned how to do the brows from Ron Guarino, he taught me that we should be placing the arch to the outside of this one particular angle. And I'm going to show you these angles in a second. So hang tight with me. So when I learned in 1993 that the angle should be on the outside of the arch, unbeknownst to me, that in the aesthetics manual, they were having placement for the arch straight up from the center of this eye. That is why everybody has rainbow freaking eyebrows, is because the book is wrong about the placement of the arch. You do not want that angle straight up above your eye. You need to have it at an angle to the outside of the corner. So we're going to talk about that in a second. If you need to, you can take a pencil and you can dot where the start and where the end should be. You know, I don't need to mark because I've been doing this forever, and part of my eye and my critical eye is that I can see where the brows are supposed to start and end on somebody's face. That is why it's important to not have a trend for an eyebrow, but it needs to be to your eye set. Your eye set is how you manage this. Okay, does that communicate clearly? So that everybody's shape of their face is different, and where the placement of the brows that will balance the face out has to do with where the arches and where the balance lies in the face. So, all right, now if I can actually see and have you guys see, because I have to look into my magnifying mirror as I do this. Can you all see me okay? And this is, I definitely wish I had a moderator for this so they could read me the comments. Maybe my husband can hear me so he can read me comments. Okay, so I'm brushing. So we're going to brush, 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 brush. Right? Everybody see okay? Okay. So this is step one. Step two. Okay, thanks guys. Okay, is I'm going to take the primer because I got to hold them in place. This goes for setting my mark, okay? So now I'm holding them in place. All right, and I'm following the direction of the hair. Can you see that? All hair direction. And now I'm just going to brush them through, and I'm going to brush them through with the spoolie. And I think I'm going to sell these. This is a really good brush on the one end, spoolie on the other. This is with our new brush line, Royal and Langnickel. We have amazing new brushes. If you haven't checked out the brushes, I think most of them are all in the online store now. Okay, how does that look? All right. Okay, can you all see that? All right, I'm going to put my glasses back on in a second and see how I look in this mirror. Okay, so you see? All right, good. Okie doke. Now I'm going to scoot a little closer. Oh, I somehow made myself tear today. My first time putting makeup on, and I put some eye gel on, and I think I got it all in my eye. All right, so the next thing that I'm gonna do is I am gonna use this, and I'm using dark taupe brow ink. Okay, and I am not using this wand. Sometimes you can use the wand, but for my purposes right now, I am trying to fill in the brow as naturally as possible. And I am going to just, okay, wipe the brush onto the applicator wand. Now, I have a towel below me, okay? And I'm going to wipe this brush on this towel. You do not want all this excess product. It's too much product if you go directly off of here. Sometimes you can wipe the wand as well. I always tell people when they're buying this product to make sure, and I don't care any brow product, is to wipe it on the towel first. All right, so very first thing is I'm going to naturally just go through, and God, you guys, I haven't had any makeup on for days. Reminds me, I worked on a ski resort when I was out of college, and I went for about 6 months without really wearing much makeup. And when I went back to work for a long home and moved down here in the land of makeup, I was like, oh my God, I always felt like I had a ton of makeup on. Okay, so can you see how I'm brushing my hair? I'm taking this little angle brush. It needs to be a really stiff angle brush. And I'm just brushing it through the direction of the hair. That already made like a tremendous difference on my face. Yes? Can you see? All right. So this stuff also will last like a little bit too. I'm just getting some more product on the brush. And there we go. What do you think? All right. You see all that? Okay. So now I'm going to do the next one. So you want to get your brows as filled in as possible before you do any tweezing. Try to get them into the optimal shape. So now I've colored them. So the next is I'm going to take the pencil, and this is where we're going to exaggerate the line a little bit. And I need to see my colors here. Okay, I got a brunette. And we have the, this is the Precision Brow Pencil. And it has a little spoolie on the other side. So next is, and I'm going to keep my glasses on for this because actually I can't. I got to go into my close-up mirror. It's so hard being old. Okay. So if you look, oh, angles. Sorry, I got to go back to the angles because I have to teach you the angles so that you can see where I'm going. So first is you want to take a tiny little brush that is, let's see if I got a thinner brush than this. I know I do. There we go. Take a thin little brush, okay? And the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to measure from the corner of this nostril, and you're going to go straight up and hit the front of where this area should be. Now, if you look, you've got your tear duct and you have your socket all the way in. Okay, I have a decent amount of space between here and here. Now, the book to teach estheticians how to do brows has the person line up their angle straight through that tear duct and straight up here. Look at how much would be taken off of the front of my brow if I took it off from the start of my tear duct. It also says to end and the end of this tear duct and straight up through here. Now, mine naturally kind of do that, but if you see this angle, okay, there's my tear duct, I would be losing all those little hairs and I would have a little mustache for a brow. Okay, the third angle is the aesthetics book says to put it to the outside of this iris and straight up. That's where my arch would be if we follow those guidelines. Hell no. Okay, so you're going to go from the corner of this nose again, and you're going to go to the outside of the iris on this angle. And this, you guys, is what you hire me for. This right here is what you hire me for, is this arch point right here. Okay, this is, can you see me okay? Okay, good. So this point right there is what is most important to maintain and to not screw up is this arch. You are not allowed to go into this arch at all. Okay? Everybody with me on there? Say something in the chat. Whoops. Just lost my chat. You know, you don't hit the refresh button, right? Whoops. Okay, good. Okay, great. Okay, so you're going to maintain and protect your arch at all costs. So, and you're going to go through and you're going to enhance what these arches are with a pencil or one of those brow definers if you have one of these that look like this felt tip pen. we had a problem with manufacturing with these because the colors were turning. So some of you still have some, covet these. It's hard to find them because the manufacturer had such a hard time with them. Okay, so the very first thing is we're going to take this pencil and I'm going to hold up this brush and I'm going to go through, and hopefully it's going to come through on here, is we're going to go equidistant between the socket and the tear duct. So this right here, and I'm going to exaggerate, okay, is where, and when I'm teaching artists to do this, this is what I'm teaching them, is that's where the start point should be. So remember, nobody's going to see you. You're going to be washing your faces. You're going to have plenty of time to practice this in the meantime, okay? So, and when we die, that's the important part, is to make sure that we are working on those fronts and on those ends, because that's what creates balance. And as we get older, we have thyroid issues or any of that stuff, the front part of our brows and our tails are the first thing to go. So we're just going to exaggerate right up and through there. Okay. Can you see that? All right. Now we're going to end. We're going to do the ends. So again, there's my socket is way out there and my tear duct is way there. We're going to go equidistant. So in my perfect world, I would love to have a little more end. And so I use my new brow, and I do have more hairs that are down there. And so I'm really protective of those end hairs. Again, don't go into the end. So can you all see how that just opened up my whole face by pulling that out to the end? Can you see that? Okay, great. So next is we're going to pull it out to here, equidistant, and you can see how, again, and this isn't going to be perfect on this side, but that's okay. My imperfection will teach you guys that it's not perfect, right? Okay, there. So then we're going to mark, and I already was like protective of my arches anyway. Let's go. I got to look straight ahead. So you got to look straight ahead in that mirror. You got to be able to see that arch, and you're going to hold that up there, and you can see how, and really, once you set that point, you should be able to see your arch. Can everybody find that okay? All right. Yes? Let me see which comments are. Yes, mama. Woohoo. Okay, you want me to repeat the angle? All right, Charlotte wants me to repeat the angle. Okay, Charlotte. So, brush from the corner of the nose, okay, to the outside of this iris. And this is the most important part, is you go here to the outside, right up on this angle. So it's to the outside. Can you see it? Right there, baby. Tell me if you got it, Charlotte. You get it? You get it? Maybe? Yes, yes. All right, Charlotte, I got to hear from you, sister. Yes. Okay. All right, you learning? Everybody learning? All right. So now we're filled in, and now I'm just going to go and I'm going to brush just a little bit through everything, just a little bit, to try to get the last of this color through this brow. So the very first thing we're going to do, or I'm going to do here, is I am going to tweeze the obvious ones. So I'm coming in. Can you see? I've got to look in this mirror that's ahead of, on above me, because I can't, because I'm so freaking blind. But I'm going to start just tweezing. And sometimes, you know what, you guys, you might not even be able to see them, for those of you who, you know, don't have bad eyesight like me. So you know that they're there. And you see this area, okay? On this pencil. So between here, this is your front. And here. That's mine. You don't touch anything in there. You got it? This right here is what you pay me for. Don't screw it up. Okay? So you see how I'm connecting the dots? If you have to do that, You see? You have to do that so that you don't take anything that's in that area, because I do not want you to screw that up. All right. So now I can kind of see, and there's my line for what is safe area to take. And you have to do this once a week. Okay. Oh my God. I have not tweezed my brows in so long, you guys. The only place I tweeze my brows is in New York because they have the most unbelievable mirror. I'm going to see if I can't sell those mirrors because they're so incredible. So I'm holding my skin taut. That's also, and I am pulling as I'm going along. Any questions so far? Let's see. I gotta look and see. We got any questions? Questions. Does this make sense? You got it? All right, I'm gonna keep tweezing on the other side. And then I'm gonna take off that line so that you can see. And then my next one, will be me figuring out how to teach you all how to color your brows with okay, good. It makes sense. Makes sense. Good. Maybe we can have some one-on-one consultations for eyebrows and you doing them if I need to coach you through how to tweeze. Oh, okay. I know it's so hard. I'm trying, Jennifer. Okay, hang on. Because let's see if I can. Okay, how's that? Is that any better? All right, let me try this side because I was on the one side. Okay. Now, is that better? Now I have to do some trimming. Can you see that long hair that's in there? Okay, great. Now, I'm going to tweeze some more here. See, this is when I wish I had somebody moderating the room. Somebody want to help me moderate next time? Look at all that hair down there. So you can see I have my angle. I'm not going into any of that hairs here. It's only on the inside. Also, turn your head like in multiple directions, right? So that you can really see. And I'm not going to take anything on top. I'm not going to encourage any of you to hit anything on top. It is just too hard to do yourself. I do not want you to screw this up. We've worked way too hard to get your brows maintained. Okay. All right. So next, trimming. So there's a couple different philosophies. A lot of brow artists out there tell you to brush down in order to trim. I am going to do that just to see which hairs make sense to take. But I want you to look for the obvious ones. If you have thin curved, you're going to be able to go in there and do this after when you haven't had any coffee. You just to see how I snip just those little ones. This is where the comb comes in handy. Okay. The spoolie isn't going to cut it for this. It's going to be really important for you to use the comb to trim. So I know a lot of you have really long brows. Charlotte, I know you're one of them with these long brows. So it's very hard to just trim those. And I have curly brows too. So it's really hard to trim on your own. It is really, really hard. So the first thing is that's one of the reasons why we use that primer is we use that primer to just kind of keep them. And I'm just repeating and repeating and repeating the brushing to combing so that the little ones will start to stick out. Can you see how on this side, that one up top, this one right here just decided to be all kinds of wonky? Did you see that? Wonky brow. So I'm going to turn this brow. You're going to turn your hand and see it just wants to go back inside. But we're near this close. Can you all see that? I'm just going in and I'm cutting just the tips off of those hairs that are sticking out over my brow line and ruining my shape. Can you see? Okay, next. So now I'm going to brush again, and I'm going to take the little spoolie brush, and I'm going to brush, brush, brush. And I'm going to see if anything else is sticking out. It's only if it sticks out that you take it. And you're going to brush it and hold it down. Okay, so there's just one or two little ones on the other side over here, and I really need a brow lamination. Okay, so scissors, and I'm just going to snip right like that. What do you think? All right, what do we got here? Yeah, so sometimes if you trim too short, you can lower your brow fran. I'm going to post this so everybody can see the question. Okay. So the question is, or the comment was, when you trimmed mine, I was actually lowering my brow. So if you trim too short, did you see how I was able to brush up and over? I'm going to comb them down and I'm going to trim a little bit. Okay. So the issue is, and I have a really good famous makeup artist, brow expert friend, who her philosophy is to brush down and to trim them all, brushing down pretty short. If you do that, you're going to lose your arch in some circumstances, because do you see how my hair comes up and it rolls over the brow? Like, all the hair is going in the one direction through that arch. If I cut, so now let me brush down, okay? I'm going to brush down. And that's one of the reasons to do this brow lamination, is because you get these hairs going in all one direction. Okay, so you can see by brushing down, and you got to do it with the comb. See, they don't want to stay there. Do you see all those long hairs that are right in through there? Okay, if I go to take those off, I'm going to flatten out my brow and make my brow look excessively thin. You want to, again, people see you, it's kind of like when you trim your bangs, right? If anybody's ever trimmed their bangs, I have curly hair. I did it once in my life. And when I cut them and then they dried, they were up to the middle of my forehead. It's kind of the way that the brows go. You got to make sure to comb them up and brush them over. Do you notice how I do that 1,001 times while I'm actually doing your brows? Is I keep brushing and I keep brushing and I keep brushing until I see the place. So when you're in the car, the easiest part, and if you're not blind, the easiest part is that you've got to come back and you have to see. So I have a mirror that's in front of me that's far, and you look and you see the balance of this brow. I think they look pretty darn balanced. I'm going to tweeze, or I'm going to trim just a little bit of the front hairs. Let me see, Case, what you have to say. Okay, Case. Yes, I'm going to be recording this and sending it out. If we need to do a session, I probably will offer some, one-on-one sessions to guide you through this process if somebody is interested in that. So thanks for being here, Case. Okay. So next is, I'm just going to trim a little bit of the front right here. I'm going to brush again. And what is Charlotte saying? It's okay. I'm going to be done. I'm sorry I took a little bit more time, and I will send all the resources I'll send all the resources for what I use for everything in a follow-up email. If I was smart enough, I would have had this all done now, but I'll follow up with an email and give you hopefully like a schedule of the next tutorials as well. Okay. See, I'm learning. I can't believe this has already been an hour. But I think we're pretty well good. I'm going to look far away. I'm going to now wipe off the excess color here. And you can see I still have some baby hairs, right? I still have some hair that is right under here Can you see that? I don't know if you can see it because I don't have my glasses on, but I can see it in the mirror. I still also have one brow. If we're going to get real meticulous, I have one brow that's just my curly one, my wild hair. And instead of plucking that sucker, I'm going to trim that down. So I just took it out. I didn't take it out. I trimmed it below that brow line. So now it's kind of like stuck in the center of it. Did you see how now it just kind of disappeared in there? Okay. All right. I think we are good to go. I think that's a great starting point for you guys. I think, um, do we have any questions? Does anybody have any questions for me, or do you feel more confident about being able to maintain yourself? I would love to hear more of your requests for more webinars. The next one that I will do probably on picking out the right home brow color. Please give me your feedback and let me know how I can help you. If you want to do a one-on-one, we're going to offer one-on-one makeup lessons sooner than later. And I think I have, hang on. All right. So, let's see if I can do this. And I'm going to just give this final effort. Let's see if it works. Sorry. Give me 1 second here. I'm trying to get up a deal for you all. Okay, sorry. For everybody who watched this webinar. Oh, it's not working. Anyway, I'm going to work on this now. If you remember this, and if you use the code BROWSE at authenticbeautycosmetics.com, right? Let me see if I can put it in here. Hang on. Because I got this other one, BROWSE. Okay, did you see that? It says BROWSE. And if you go to authenticbeautycosmetics.com, let's see if I can get it. Dun, dun, dun. There's a link. Can you see it? If you see that, yes, lash tint too. Thanks. Hopefully we'll be back in about 30 days. Oh, Arlene, I didn't see you were on here. Thank you for making. Okay, Tama, fill in with that brow ink the way that I showed you in order to see it. And then we're going to get some brow tint options, okay? All right, you guys. Yes, Fran, you want to get the right tools before you do this. I'm going to send you a resource. I'm going to send you a resource list. Nicole from New Mexico. Oh my gosh. I hope this help. I miss you. I hope you're doing great. I will put all this together. And yes, Lucinda, I will put the brow kit together for a package price. So I will give me just by the end of the day, and I will have all this stuff up for you all. And Tama, yes, the brow ink is what you want to do with using the angle and color in every single bit of the hair. It will work for you if you use, I would say, the dark taupe and just go through exactly what I did, okay? Or even the blonde, actually, the blonde brow ink would probably be really great for you too. And you just gonna fill them in first before you do that. And then I'm going to work on Tama coming up with a strategy for brow tint for next time. Okay. Anything else? Sorry. All right. Hey, Dorothy, I'm glad that was helpful to you. All right, everybody. I'll see you again. Take care.